Hello, and today we'll begin Chapter 2 for Heart of Amethyst. I see sweat running down the princess's forehead. She's nervous. She should be, as I'm just a few moves away from winning this game. 3 of my soldiers have been ascended to knight captains, and my kidnapped queen is halfway across the board. Which means I'm close to reclaiming her. After that, it'll just be a matter of time before her army surrenders. So, are you a little scared? Oh, I see what you're doing there, princess. But sadly for you, trying to distract me is pretty much impossible. I'm far too focused on the game to be distracted by small talk. Scared of. She finally does her move, making her magician advance forward. I see, she's trying to kill the knight who is accompanying my rescued queen. But she probably doesn't remember that I still have a sniper hidden in the forest. She's obsessed at trying to stop the knight, which means she's getting reckless. I smile to myself, feeling extremely confident in my strategy. Still, I try to act normal. I don't want her to think I have a plan. You know about your test tomorrow. I move my knight a few squares closer to my castle. My dear queen will be safe soon enough. Roderick said I would be fine. I trust his word. She then moves her magician closer to my knight, placing it at a perfect range for my sniper to kill. So as I move the little figurine out of the forest, her smile fades. The sniper does a ranged attack on a mage, killing it instantly, and as mages have a very poor defense. And now only 10 of her troops remain, while I still have 16 of mine. Her face goes from disbelief to anger in a matter of seconds, so I ready myself for another one of her tantrums. You're cheating. You weren't this good before. I just sweat my shoulders and offer her a blank look. I've been playing with Amethyst, and he's really good at this game. So playing against her is like child's play. Your Majesty, please calm down. Not all is lost. You should keep a clear head. Before things go out of hand, Ruby jumps to the rescue and manages to calm her down. I sigh relief because when she gets angry, things usually get thrown around. Towards me most of the time. There was this one time when she threw the board so hard that one of the figurines hit my eye. I couldn't see anything with that eye for a couple of days. Anyway, we resume the game. It's her turn, and she uses it to move the entirety of her forces into the castle. I see she's given up the idea of taking back my queen. She'll likely try to win by weakening my forces as she barricades herself inside her fortress. That's not a bad strategy. Luckily for her, I still have some snipers and mages left. Her walls won't be able to protect her from my ranged attacks, as she can't retaliate because I've killed most of her ranged units. The only way she can win is by praying that my woe suck. But that's unlikely. He's a knight, you know. He's been training far longer than you. You have no choice. I give her a nasty look, but she returns it with a smile. If I listen to her taunts now, I'll lose focus. I need to think my strategy properly. He's a trained soldier, and you started with your training. Like what, 3 weeks ago? She's trying to rile me up, but I won't let her. Queen saved. Now that my queen is back in the castle, my soldiers will get a strength boost. All there's left to do is to kill her king and set her up for good. I used the rest of my turn wisely, and I began my advance onto her territory. I can already imagine how disappointed my grandpapa will be once he sees you fail. Princess, Both men and the princess jump as Ruby raises her voice. The maid's looking at Dahlia with a severe expression on her face. Measure your words. You're being impolite with your guests. Dahlia looks back at her, her cheeks fully flustered, but not a single word comes out of her mouth. I can't help but smile back at her. When she sees me smiling, the girl looks down and angrily crosses her arms, acting as if her mom just scolded her. Sometimes it's really hard to believe that she is older than me. Either way, I just want to be done with this and go relax in my room. So I use the next 2 turns to destroy her troops with ranged attacks. Then I eventually break her castle's door and I conquer her kingdom. It was a little hard to pull off as she had some really lucky rolls, but it all worked out at the end. When we finished the game, I asked for permission to leave. The girl says nothing as she just stares at the window with an annoyed expression on her face. Looks like being scolded by the maid but the maid didn't sit well with her. A real sight to see. I'll make sure to store it properly in my memories. I didn't mean it, you know. I was seeing you training. Maybe you do have a chance. And here's an even rarer spectacle. The princess being nice to me? Scandalous. I can count the times she's been nice to me with the fingers in one of my paws, so this is a surprise. I bow again and offer her one last smile before turning around. Time to go. Stepping outside of the princess's room, I decide to take a quick walk around the backyard. I find it relaxing to be here at night, as there are many things that I enjoy. The cold breeze from the lake, for example, which makes my fur stand up and my body shiver. The night sky is bright and beautiful as always, with hundreds of stars shining above. Man, I could just drop on the ground and fall asleep on the spot with the beautiful sound of the waves of my lullaby. Still, I still drop the idea. I never consider sleeping on the ground very well. Besides, my very comfortable bed is waiting for me. I can't help but admire this amazing scenario. Being away from the city has its perks. You get to enjoy quiet places like this. Taking a few steps towards the store, the training area comes to view. I'm not going to lie, seeing it fills my heart with dread. I'll be fine, there's nothing to worry about, Roderick said. You should train shorter. You started with your training. Like what, 3 weeks ago? I shake my head harshly as if what would make the thought go away faster. As if that would make the thought go away faster. For now, I should just try to sleep as much as I can. No use worrying about tomorrow. With that in mind, I stop on my tracks and turn around. No more wandering around. My bed is waiting. But even as I try to fall asleep, I find it difficult to do so. I've been moving around in bed for hours, but my brain won't let me rest. I have tried everything to get myself sleepy. I asked Zach for a tea, did some push-ups, and I even did that thing. But I'm restless tonight. I'm so frustrated. I mean, what was Roderick thinking? Why would it be a good idea to set up a sparring match with a freaking knight? You're ready. Have some faith in your skill. Easy for him to say. He could probably beat every single one of those soldiers with a hand tied behind his back. But me, I'm no warrior. I just started my training with him 3 weeks ago, and the knights have been training their whole life. And to make things worse, the king will be there. Apparently, he was thrilled to know that I've been doing some steady progress in my sword training. And he wanted to be just perfect. I'm keeping him on his toes, and he's falling back. If I keep this up, I'll tie him up sooner or later. It's a perfect chance to... Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That was perfect. pat myself in the back a few times, feeling accomplished with this little training of mine. If I fight like this, I shouldn't have any trouble keeping up with him. I really hope I don't forget all of this though. My pride depends on it. I take some deep breaths and rest the sword against the tree. My heart is beating so fast that it could pretty much jump off of my chest at this rate. I got more excited than normal. Can't help but wonder if the same is going to happen on the real match. I should try to calm down and take a break. So I decided to close my eyes and focus on my breathing. It was a good workout and I feel satisfied with myself. Maybe things will be fine after all. I can only hope. Really? How quite that scared me. I was so relaxed that I didn't even notice him approaching. Yes? Deep breaths, Ellie. Deep breaths. I need to calm myself down and just think calmly. I mean, how bad can it be? It'll be just like a normal training. One buffer and bigger guy will beat the shit out of me with a stick. Nothing that I'm not used to by now. It should be simple. In fact, it should be easier. I'm sure no one can hit as hard as Roderick. Let's be honest though. That's not the reason why I'm this nervous. I'm nervous because this is the first time I'll be fighting for real, even if the sword aren't real. Yet. What if I freeze? What if I don't manage to do a thing? What if I get completely humiliated? I knew something like this would happen, but I didn't want it to happen so quick. I try to calm down once more, entertaining my head with other thoughts. Some people count sleep as they fall asleep, but me, I go for a more practical approach. I decided to replay simulations of tomorrow's event in my head. That did a trick, as I eventually felt like a rock. Next morning came sooner than I expected. When I woke up, I felt as if a bull had ran me over at night. My muscles felt a little sore and my eyes were about to fall off. Luckily for me, Jack had prepared a nice and warm bath. I stayed in it for like an hour just enjoying myself. Then as we were having breakfast, both Callis and Almond agreed to let me use the rest of the morning to get some last minute practice with the sword. So I've been doing that for the last 2 hours. Following Roderick's instructions, I've been reviewing some basic stuff, imagining myself in the real battle, ready to strike some head down. It's silly, but it works, and it's very simple to be honest. I just need to imagine myself in different situations such as, look out, the enemy is throwing a horizontal attack. How should I block him? Yes, exactly. That way his sword will properly impact with mine. I won't lose grip. Besides, there will be no opening for him to continue attacking. It'll force him to back down at least for a few seconds. This is the other basic. I must know it by heart. Now that I think about it, it was the first thing Roderick taught me. Second thing he taught me was how to follow up a successful block. Now, the follow-up action depends on how aggressive my enemy is behaving. There are 4 possibilities in most cases. If the enemy retaliates quickly after the first block, then the best thing to do is to block again. But that will only apply if the swing is within blocking range. If he's swinging too low or too high, then it's better to dodge. Thus it gives me some space for breathing. The third possibility is to attack, but this comes with a high risk as the enemy can block or parry me. So the safest bet would be to retaliate only if my enemy stumbles or falters. Lastly, we have the parry, a very powerful technique that has an even higher risk. Parry is the best way to disarm an enemy and leave them vulnerable. It's quite useful if you don't want to go for the kill. Bad thing is, it's not an easy move to pull off, and if you do it wrong, well, better not do it wrong. Parry will be very useful in case your enemy has been blocked multiple times and they're losing grip on their weapon. If that happens, you must quickly hit the back of their sword with a swift circular motion, make them drop it. Man, this is just the basic stuff. I dropped the sword for a few seconds, catching my breath. I've been training under the sun all day. I need to make sure not to overheat myself. I remained there for a few more seconds just listening to the wind. Man, this tour is nice today. I say to myself, allowing my thoughts to fly away as far as possible. I try to imagine myself sitting under my favorite tree at my old house. I swear I can hear the chickens and even the horse. But the memory is short-lived as I open my eyes to go back to reality. Okay, back to training it is. Every second wasted is a second too many. I take my sword and touch the surface of my training dummy, also known as the tree. I can notice the bruises that I've left on this big fella over the days. Just say stop it if I'm hurting you too much, okay? I know you're a tough guy, but I don't want to overdo it. I'm so silly. Anyway, here I go. It's coming from the right. Yes, perfect. This is good. He retaliated quickly. The second blow is coming from the top. Okay, I'm doing good so far, but I can't let my guard down. Especially now that he's going for my legs. Yes, this is good. Now that I've dodged his attack, the enemy doesn't know what to do. He's doubting this is my chance to. That's perfect. By keeping him on his toes, he's falling back. If I keep this up, I'll tie him up for sure. I'll tie him up sooner or later. It's a perfect chance to. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That was perfect. I pat myself in the back a few times, feeling accomplished with this little trainer of mine. If I fight like this, I shouldn't have any trouble keeping up with him. I really hope I don't forget all of this, though. My pride depends on it. I take some deep breaths and rest the sword against the tree. My heart is beating so fast that it could pretty much jump out from my chest at this rate. I got more excited than normal. I can't help but wonder if the same is going to happen on the real match. I should try to calm down and take a break. As I open my eyes, I'm met by the sight of Amethyst. I greet him with a smile, and he offers me one of his own. You do that very often, you know. One thing, you know what I mean. If you have that much free time, maybe you should read a book or two. The wolf smirks as he teases me a little. In turn, I hit his shoulders softly. What are you doing here anyway? I thought you would be buried in work today. Well, as a matter of fact, I am. I wanted to see how your training was going. Is that such a bad thing? No, not at all. That's not why. He smirks once more and tilts his head, letting me know that he was just teasing me again. And to think that 3 weeks ago, this guy wouldn't even crack a joke. Maybe he's spending too much time with me. I'm not complaining though. He's more relaxed and open, not so serious all the time, and he actually enjoys talking with me now. Or I hope he does. I didn't know you would make it back from my match. I thought you were busy. As I said, I'm busy, but the king insisted that I was present in your match, in case anyone gets hurt. Oh, I see, he'll be there to patch me up when I get a broken bone, or worse. No, bad thoughts away. Nothing will happen, I'll be fine. I slapped myself really hard on both cheeks for good measure, making Collins jump in the process. Why would you do that? Moral support. The wolf sighs deeply, looking back at me as if I had gone crazy, but to be fair, I do this quite often. It's a habit I picked up from my mom. You're dumb as bricks. Hopefully your head is as thick as one. I can't help but chuckle as he says that. The wolf, on the other hand, just sighs, but eventually he chuckles himself. And how have things been? Anything interesting happening at the library? The male sighs and shakes his head weakly in denial. As per usual, he seems uninterested, but even if he tries to hide it, he enjoys venting about his job. It's been okay, a little slow more than anything. But I like it slow. Gives me time to reflect on things. Well, that's good. Although there's been this little issue that has been bothering me a lot. Some books and old documents have gone missing. Yesterday, one of the old botany textbooks just vanished, and it happened the same to some royal documents 5 days ago. What do you think it means? The wolf places his hand on his chin and looks up, probably trying to find the correct words. All the missing objects seem to be unrelated. Two science books, one of the world encyclopedias, and a few old text documents. I've expressed my concerns to the king, and he asked me to look into it, but I'm not sure what I am even supposed to look for. Achilles exhales harshly and rubs his forehead. He then turns his gaze back at me, and I offer him a reassuring smile. I know you'll find the culprit, man. It's just a matter of time. You're like hella smart for your age. He offers me a tired smile and nods, looking away in the distance afterwards. Thank you. Shall we sit? I'm rather tired. I nod to that as I sit under my training dummy, leaving a spot for him to sit beside me. The shade of the tree feels comforting, so we both remain in silence as we enjoy the peace and quiet. I look up and close my eyes, listening to the sound of the birds and the wolf's rhythmic breathing. I was Soda's touch, and I must admit that the feeling of his fur brushing against mine is quite nice. I wonder if he uses some sort of a product to make his fur so fluffy. His embroideries are the nicest ones I've ever felt. Although, to be honest, I don't see the black wolf using bathing products, unlike Achilles, who is always so clean and tidy. Now that I think about it, I've never seen his fur dirty or unkept even once. I wonder how many hours he takes to tidy himself up. The comforting silence is soon broken by Achilles, who is handing me some sort of candy. I bought some before I left the city. It's quite a delicacy. Do you want some? I take a look at the candy. It seems to be some sort of milky product put on a stick and hardened by fire. I then give it a sniff. The smell is quite sweet, but acid at the same time, like a lemon frosted with sugar. At first I don't think much of it, but then it seems to hit the right spot on my nose. The scent turns into a musical parade playing inside my snout. Is it really okay? It looks expensive. So that means you don't want it? Fine, I'll eat it myself then. No, wait, I'll eat it. Really? Gimme. I push forward and take a big bite out of the candy while he's still holding it. The sweet immediately melts in my mouth, making me want to suck on it even more. The texture is sublime, really soft and puffy, as if I'm eating a cloud. And the taste, by the goddesses, is indescribable. I've never tasted something so sweet, yet there's an acidic core that gives it a nice contrast. Are you quite done? While I'm still sucking on the stick, I look up. Nicholas's cheeks have gone fully red and his facial expression is unreadable. Ah, dang, is he mad? Did I eat too much? As our eyes meet, there's an awkward silence that drags on for a few seconds. Then he snaps out of it and pushes me back, forcing me to take the whole candy with me. You foolish buffoon, why did you do such a thing? Sorry, man, I didn't mean to take it all. I'll buy you one, I swear. Ah, dang it, this is so embarrassing. What was I thinking? I was so distracted by the sweetness of the candy that I didn't stop to think about what I was doing. And I acted like a dumb puppy. I'm so sorry. And Carlos covers his face with his hand and looks away. His cheeks are still a little red, but so are mine. He continues to say nothing, which only makes me feel even worse. Please say something. It doesn't matter. I had some before leaving the city. Just don't do stuff that day in public. Jeez. I don't manage to hear that last part properly as his whisper is barely audible. I'll leave you be for now. He cleans himself up as he stands up from the spot where he was sitting. I still feel bad for what I did, but to be honest, I'm not sure what to say in this situation. You better save up for that candy. It's called lapalm. You have to promise to go there yourself, understand? The wolf is currently facing the other way, so I can't see his face properly. He's probably really pissed if he doesn't want to look at me, isn't he? So now I wanted to keep him for longer than not. Then I remember he's not watching me, so I say, yes, of course, I'll take you there myself. We'll eat it together that time, I promise. Don't say stuff like that, you idiot. I can't hear what he says, but it doesn't matter. Because the wolf leaves as soon as he said that, giving me a final nod as he walks away into the distance. Is he really okay? It's past noon when I'm summoned by Wardrick into the Great Hall. My hands are a little sweaty, but I'm trying to keep it together as best I can. Wardrick trained me for this. It was bound to happen sooner or later. Besides, it's just a stick. Come on, Ellie can do it. Captain, this place is stunning. I cannot believe I'm here. My ears perk up as I hear an unknown, yet somehow familiar voice in the distance. I try to pay close attention to the man standing close to Wardrick, but as hard as I try, I can't picture where I've seen him. The guy is the first one who notices me, giving me a warm smile. One that I tried to return, but it probably came off as some weird grin. When Wardrick sees me, he nods in approval and signals me to come closer. What? I mean, Sir Ellie, I'm glad you could join us. I almost let out a chuckle as I see him acting formal around me. Yep, this is one of those rare occasions in which Wardrick is forced to treat me nicely. He's just doing this to not insult the king in front of a stranger. I'm the king's retainer after all. It would be rude if the knight called me names. I wouldn't worry about him much though. His jerkish personality is due to come back once this is all over. Allow me to introduce you to Sir Edward Laurent, son of a good friend of mine and a third-class royal knight. Sir Edward, this is Sir Ellie Biscotti, the king's most recent acquisition. The weird-looking dog looked really proud of himself as Roger announced all his titles. He then offers me his hand for a handshake. I obviously take it, giving him a tight squeeze. It's my pleasure to finally meet the famous Sir Ellie. Famous, that is a word I'm not used to be described as, but before I can ask him, Edward. Wardrick sends him a murderous look, and the night seems shaken for a moment. I can't help but wonder what the hell's going on, but knowing Wardrick, he won't let me ask. The pleasure is all mine, Sir Edward. Oh, please, no need for formalities. For such formalities, brother, we may as well have been born the same year. Please do call me Eddie. It's a nickname I'm most fond of. He is formal and knows his place, unlike some of the knights I've seen. So I'm guessing this Ellie comes from a rich family. Maybe a second or third son. It's quite useful for those who aren't the heir to try and make a name for themselves rather than carry around the name of their families. Indeed, that's why I thought it would be a lucrative experience for both of you. Given you are pretty close in age, you both could learn a thing or two from each other. The two of us nod at Wardrick's words, Eddie more silently than me, if I'm being honest. Is he really looking forward to this whole thing? Let's do our best, Sir Ellie. Yeah. You can call me Ellie, by the way. Just like you said, no need for formalities. The dog smiles and nods Meanwhile, Walter just stands there with a judgmental expression on his face. Alright then, since you two are acquainted for, let's go have some lunch before the match. Walter goes first, leaving Eddie and me to follow his steps. The dog elbows me softly, then winks as we walk one beside the other. Maybe meeting this guy wasn't so bad after all. I'm starting to like him. The lunch felt quite rewarding after a morning of hard training. Besides, Eddie and I got to catch up a little as we ate. Turns out I was right. He's part of a rich family, and he's not the heir. I feel pretty proud. I feel really proud for figuring out most of his story, but there was a little detail that I got wrong. He's not the second or third child. He's not even the fifth. Turns out Eddie's the 11th kid out of 12. His family heeds from Flugo, and his species is called desert wild dog. According to him, his ancestors used to live in the wastelands, but they were cast out by the barbarians and were forced to settle in Flugo. Soon after that, they made a fortune as a merchant family by trading great quality ores they brought from the wasteland. That's like really lucky. I mean, don't get me wrong. They seem like nice people from what he's let on, but damn, most people just don't turn wit so easily. Eddie and I end up walking all the way to my tower. Roger left mid-lunch, and he nicely asked me to keep Eddie entertained while he was away. I literally had no idea what to do, so I just asked him if he wanted a tour. He said yes, and here we are. This place really is marvelous. You're quite lucky, if I may say so myself. Whatever you say, man, I see this more as a fancy prison. Of course, I would never actually say that, especially not in front of someone who idolizes the idea of living here. I know, right? I even got my own fancy room. Oh, really? Your very own room? I'm jealous, brother. I've never had my own room while growing up. I had to share mine with 5 of my siblings. Is that so? I thought you would each have your own personal room. Only because I told you we were rich? Nothing furthest from the truth. If we are wealthy, we live in quite a humble house. Father says it was built by my great-great-great-grandfather. I'm probably missing a great or two, but you get to my point. It's family legacy, so I proudly say that I spent my puphood living in a small house. My cheeks were a little red as I'm caught assuming things I shouldn't. Happens more often than not. I should learn to keep my big mouth shut. Did you really sleep with 5 other people? Must have been really uncomfortable. To undo my mistake, I tried to switch the topic somewhere else. Indeed it was. There was no sense of privacy, and the smell of male was quite potent at all times. Sometimes my older brothers would come back from a long day at work. I fall asleep without even bathing. I don't know what to say to that. It doesn't sound so bad to me. I mean, being stuck in a room with 5 sand dogs such as him, who smell strong and have to sleep close to each other. I'm not even going to finish that thought. What about you, brother? How was your life growing up? Oh, me? You want to know about me? There's really not much to say. Like I told you, I grew up in a cabin by the woods with my sister and my parents. I had told him an altered version of my past, which both my parents are still alive, and they live by the woods with my sis. And apparently I just came here looking to be Mr. Biscotti's apprentice. This sewer is a nice view, isn't it? I say as I try to, not to subtly change the subject. He doesn't seem to mind though. The dog just smiles and nods. I smile back at him and then walk a little further into the corridor. I lean on a wall, close to the open holes in the corridor, enjoying said view. He follows and gets his head out, getting hit by the strong summer breeze. Being up here makes me feel like I'm the actual king. He bursts out of the blue, taking me by surprise. I mean, being king must be cool and all, but according to what the old man has said, it's not the most rewarding job. Would you like to be? Who wouldn't? I wouldn't, but he doesn't need to know that. So I just shrug it off and pass on to other topics. Hot like this from where you hail? Not at all. Fugel is a territory among mountains, like most of the Canine Empire. So it's rather chilly. My famous fur is not made for cold weathers, so when I came to the capital it felt like I was meant to be here. Let's not talk only about me, Ellie. How about you? Tell me about the forest you came from. It surprises me that he's so willing to talk about me. After all, he's a guest. I should be the one doing the talking. It was a wonderful place, so peaceful and full of life. It felt like a little paradise, away from the hand of men. Why did you move then? It must have been hard to live away from your beloved forest. He clearly has no ill intention, but talking about my past always makes me feel uncomfortable. But fair is fair, he has shared with me a lot about himself. Yeah, it was hard to live day by day, but I eventually managed to get used to it. I still crave to come back, but I can't go just yet. He seems content with my answer, nodding a few times. And what do you guys do to make a living? This Biscotti guy is a merchant from what you said, right? Yeah, we sell all sorts of goods in the market. And do you steal those? It's coming to me while I'm surprised. At first I thought it was a joke, but his face tells me otherwise. His whole attitude changed in a matter of seconds. He's not the easygoing guy anymore. He suddenly looks serious and very intimidating. Excuse me? What the hell is going on? Was that first impression a cover-up? Is this his real personality? Oh please, Captain's not here anymore. Let's speak of our minds, shall we? Let's refrain from saying anything. The change of pace happens so suddenly that I fear I'll say something stupid if I speak up right now. I wouldn't even know what to say, to be honest. Really, what the hell is going on? Look, brother, I'm not here to accuse you of anything. That was rude of me. But can't you really blame me for being cautious? I know what you did, and in case you didn't know, it caused a lot of trouble. Not only for the king and the noblemen, but for us knights too. I stood my ground, not wanting to look wicked in front of him. The dog just laughed it off as if we were having a casual conversation. But we both know it's not like that. You know, there's been a discussion among nobles lately. They think it's not safe to go around the city anymore. They demand that we escort them everywhere. They doubled our sales so they still pay the same. I mean, the king was attacked mere weeks ago. Can you believe such a thing? He remains quiet for a few seconds. His eyes are flaming with hatred as he tries to pierce into my soul. Double sales and no gold. Now that doesn't seem very fair, does it? He takes a few steps closer to me, forcing me to back down till I reach a wall. I have to work double shifts while you stay here and sit your butt off all day, getting personal training from the best swordsman in all the kingdom. He's got me cornered against a wall, both his hands placed on each side of my head, his face mere inches away from mine. So imagine how pleased I was when the captain told me that I would get a day off. A day off, at long last, after weeks of not sleeping properly. And to top it all off, all I had to do was to break you, the asshole that caused the trouble in the first place. Or I a lucky one, brother? His words washed down on me like a bucket of cold water. I wanted to say something so bad, even punch him in the face if I must. But I'm frozen in place. I know I messed up pretty bad, but until now I refuse to think about the consequences of my actions. The king always made it seem like it had all been taken care of, like there was nothing wrong anymore. That I could live a fancy life for once. Hey, you guys are up here? Luckily for me, we hear Alma's voice echoing from behind us. Eddie takes a few steps away from me, switching to his good guy face again. The wolf smiles when he notices us and then walks closer. Oh good, finally, found you, mates. Walter says he's waiting for you in the training grounds. Better not keep him waiting, eh? Eddie looks nervous about that, but the wolf gives him a reassuring smile. Don't worry, mate, he ain't mad, he just needs you down there. Oh, thank the goddesses, better make haste then. It was a pleasure to chat with you, Ellie. I'll be waiting for our match. The dog smiles back at me and then bows in front of Almond as a way to show respect. Then he vanishes down the stairs. And when I'm about to follow him, Alan stops me by placing his arm around my shoulder. Is this the guy you were so worried about? He ain't look that strong. Well, first, I'm sure he's quite strong. He's a knight after all. And second, I wasn't worried. I was just a little tense. Mate, I could smell the sweat on your fur yesterday when Waldred told you about the match. You were hella nervous. You still are now that I think about it. Almond shamelessly takes a whiff of my neck, making me blush like a silly teenage maiden. Cut it out, I say, pushing him a few steps away from me. He looks at me with a suspicious look before he decides to talk again. You're not often just jumpy, mate. This isn't only about the match, is it? It's nothing really. Mate, I know I'm not the most sensitive and trustworthy lad, but you can trust me, right? Did something happen while you two were... No, nothing happened, it's just... I'm sorry, feeling the weight of my own anxiety getting to me. I don't often talk to anyone about my inner turmoils, but today I really wanted to get it out. Do you think I'm worthy of being the king's retainer? I mean, I could have killed him after all. And I've been nothing but I'm sorry, feeling the weight of my own anxiety getting to me. I don't often talk to anyone about my inner turmoils, but today I really want to get it out. Do you think I'm worthy of being the king's retainer? I mean, I could have killed him after all. And I've been nothing but trouble. Almond remains quiet, and for a moment I fear that I might have overwhelmed him with my insecurities. You sure are more worthy than me, mate. My ears perk up at his response. He has a reassuring yet sad smile on his face. I was quite the trouble for the old man as well when he decided to take me in. I had just been accused of a terrible crime and a certain rich family wanted my head on a stick. The old man stood up for me and I hated myself for it. I kept saying that he did it out of pity and despised him for that. But I was just refusing to see the bigger picture. Eventually, I came to the realization that he did it because he saw something in me, even if I didn't see it myself. So chill, man. If that old sack of bones made you his retainer, I know for a fact that you are worth the time. Also, if that asshole told you anything, just let me know, okay? I'm good at talking to people. Almond gave me a eerie smile. A smile that tells me he's not planning to talk to Eddie at all. I told you it wasn't him. He takes a few steps closer and gives me a warm side hug. I hug him back inside. My anxiety still lingers, but at least now I found new courage. And to think that the guy who gave it to me was... Damn, you still smell good, mate. This is the first time you let me hug you in a while. My cheeks go full tomato mode, and I push him away from me once more. Lucius laughs, wiping a tear from his eye. Why did he have to ruin the moment like that? Jerk. Let's go, mate. We shouldn't keep Big Grumpy Roderick waiting. He walked past me, his tail swinging from left to right. Proof enough that he enjoyed the whole thing. Yeah, he's such an idiot. Roderick calls us back to the backyard. It's around the 13th hour, and the sun is hitting harder than ever in this summer afternoon. As we both know, the king will be accompanying us today for this. Eddie and I bow in front of the king, present our respects to him. The old man smiles and offers us a dismissive gesture, letting us know that we don't have to be so formal. Also joining us, we have Sir Achilles and Sir Almond, both king retainers, such as Sir Ellie and myself. Eddie grunts but soon hides it with a smile and a nod. He probably already knew all that, but Roderick is just being overly formal. Alright then, given that there is no need for further introductions, I'll explain the rules. This would be a spar, with wooden swords, no armor or any sort of protective gear is allowed. Aside from that, the only invalid moves are those that involve the use of crim. This is supposed to be an exercise to test your strength, stamina, and technique, meaning that the use of magic would be an unfair disadvantage to the other party. Is it all clear? Eddie and I both nod at the same time. The Black Wolf then nods in return. Alright then, we'll start soon. Get ready. As he finishes saying that, Roderick signals me to follow him with a quick tilt of his head. I follow his lead and we both end up a few feet away from everyone else. The wolf is looking at me with a severe expression, making me feel tiny in turn. Listen to me, what? You have to win. Gee, talk about pressure. Do you think I don't know that? Wish I could tell him that, but instead I just nod. This is not just an exercise. This is a test both for you and me. If you do well, I will prove that I can turn even someone like you into a decent warrior. I'll have to admit, this isn't Roderick's best pep talk. He's often better than this. He seems to notice me doing funny faces because he sighs deeply and then places his huge hand on my shoulder. Look, he is still a rookie. He's been a knight for less than a year, and he did fairly good back at the academy. Exactly, he's been a knight for a year, and he went to the academy. Do you even hear what you're saying? I don't have a chance. I've been a trainee for less than a month. My words seem to anger Roderick for some reason, but this time I'm standing my ground. I'm really pissed at him for thinking this was a good idea. It looks like he's about to yell at me, but then he takes a deep breath and calms down. Look what, most knights don't train daily. They slack off a lot, and they don't do what they're supposed to do. I wouldn't know because I'm in charge of those lazy bastards. But you train every single day. And you stood your ground every single day. Even when I thought I had gone overboard. But the most important thing is, you have talent. He presses his index finger into my chest each time he says a sentence. His face looks sharp and full of resolve, not angry or aggressive as usual. So have some damn faith and grow some balls, Rod. You got this. Now instead of his finger, he presses his fist on my chest. Our eyes are locked in place and he seemed to be burning. Where does all this come from? I must admit that this is his best pep talk so far. So tell me, are you ready? Answer me properly, what? Are you ready? His eyes seem to be piercing a hole through my skull as he's not even blinking. Yes, I am. Hey, Edward, you ready? As ready as I'll be, Captain. The dog says happily as he finishes taking his armor off. The man has a well-toned body with some impressive muscles and some nice-looking chest fluff. Taking my eyes away from the dog, I turn to check on the onlookers. The king is sitting under one of the trees, looking as old as ever, his signature smile never fading from his face. Then there's Achilles, who looks bored as per usual. He's leaning on the tree, reading a book. Meanwhile, Almond is just being Almond, I guess. He's giving Edward some angry looks, but he tries to play it cool when he sees me staring. What an idiot he is. I sigh deeply and take off my shirt, stressing my muscles in the process. I take some more deep breaths, trying to even out my heart rate and calm my nerves. This is actually a technique Almond taught me. As crazy as that sounds, Almond classes have been quite weird. He started teaching me how to handle a bow, but then one day he just came out with the idea to teach me something different. He started to teach me different exercises to be more calm and flexible in battle. To say it somehow. Why did he do that? I have no idea, but right now I'm quite grateful he decided to do it. But that doesn't matter now. What I need to do is focus. So I close my eyes for a moment. I try to review all the things I've been learning for the past 3 weeks. My mind wanders to the many times Roger almost killed me with his crazy training. But at the same time, I think about the way he tries his best to make something useful out of me. I remember the countless hours I spent studying books and maps. Echolas came off as cold at the beginning, but he's really nice. He answers all my dumb questions and we end up having a laugh. And lastly, I picture all those afternoons with Almond. He's the funniest to hang out with when he keeps his hands out of my pants. Those three are so different, and yet they've done their best to teach me. I won't let them down. I'm ready. I can do this. I'm no coward. When I open my eyes, I'm at an absolute peace of mind. I hold my sword high, keep my feet steady on the ground, ready to give it my all. Are you ready, Sir Ellie? Yes. All right then, begin. The Black Wolf yells loudly, taking a few steps away from us. I eye Eddie from top to bottom, analyzing every detail about him. He's got a loose stance. His sword is pointing down as he is grinning, which clearly means he's underestimating me. Does he think I'm weak? Does he find my stance funny? Does he find an entry point already? My concentration breaks a little as I hear him chuckling. What? Oh, you know. Wide stance, arms up, angry expression on your face. It's just a little comical. I'm not really sure what he means. Is this some kind of mind game? Almond told me some enemies try to break your concentration with words. Sorry, I should be taking this more seriously, shouldn't I? Shall we begin? Do your worst. Just as I finish that, Eddie takes a quick step forward, closing in the distance between us. A hit from the left, I should. There you go. That was fast, my man. It's just fine. Although I can't let my guard down just yet. He's fast, really fast. His senses barely managed to. He brings down another slash from the left this time. Okay, that was a better block than the first one. But now, so keep this up. And he jumps back and takes a few steps away from me. His footing is loose and he's not staying still. And his stance, he doesn't have one. He's just moving around as if it was some sort of dance. Not so bad, all things considered. The captain has trained you properly. I wish I had that kind of luck. Here he comes. Up. Left. Right. He's storming back. There's an opening. Crap, I almost had him, but he jumped out of the way at the last second. We were both panting at this point. He's still smiling, but he's clearly taking it more seriously now. Wow, you're quite good for a criminal. I'm really glad the captain decided not to chop your head off that day. I wouldn't have the chance to kick your ass otherwise. Wait, my head, does he? How does he? You were there. I'm glad you remember, brother. Although, to be fair, I had a helmet on that day, so I don't blame you for not recognizing me immediately. I see. So he was one of the soldiers from that day. That's why I thought I knew him. He seems to notice that I'm spacing out, using that opportunity to get close once more. Up. He's aiming for our legs. I barely managed to toss that one, but he's unstable now. I see an opening. That's what I thought, because I soon see his sword rapidly approaching. I'm forced to take a step back, but I trip as I do. I lose grip on my sword as it flies a few feet away from me. Eddie quickly reincorporates and prepares his next attack. He uses the strength of my lower limbs to jump back into action, dodges his strike by mere inches. I take a few preventive steps away from him and towards my sword. He's not giving me any room to breathe though. He's not on my tail. He's hot on my tail. I need to do something. He nearly got me, but luckily I still remember that silly kick technique Almond. That silly kicking technique Almond taught me. I block him right on time, making him back away. My stance is completely broken, and he knows that. That's why he kicks me on my left shin, making me fall on my ass. It hurts like crazy, but my heart is beating so fast that I barely notice any pain. This is bad. He's coming. What do I do? What do I freaking do? No, I refuse to lose like this. I have to give him my all. I know I have the strength to stay on my feet. So I kick the sword off his hand, using my arms as support. I do a quick flip and land right on my feet. I'm a little impressed with myself, but to be honest, this is nothing compared to that horrible training with the waves. The dog tries to grab his sword back, but as he runs for it, I take a swift hit on his side, surrendering him to the floor. He grunts and turns to his side, clearly in a lot of pain. Meanwhile, I just stand there, breathless and speechless. Did I really just win? Alright, that's enough. Roger quickly approaches us and crouches beside Eddie. The wolf checks on my opponent and asks him if he's alright. Eddie gives him a thumbs up but declines Roger's help. He just stubbornly tries to stand up on his own. It takes him a while, but he eventually does. The dog is still holding a hand on his side, but he seems to be better now. I can't help but feel a little good seeing him like this. That's what he get for underestimating me. Amethyst comes near us as well, making sure that nothing got broken inside of Eddie. He seems fine, and the bruise, but it's nothing major. I'm guessing you're not injured. He whispers on my ear. I deny it with the head, as I wasn't injured badly in the fight. He nods and then offers me a cute smile, a happy expression on his face. Looks like I managed to impress someone. Roger also seems happy about the result. Eddie, on the other hand, is freaking pissed, being put on his place by a rookie and all. But he knows he lost, so he doesn't say a word. I turn to look at the black wolf, desperately trying to meet his eye. He notices me looking, so he discreetly gives me an approving look before turning back to Eddie and Amethyst. You gave a good fight, soldier. Thank you, sir. I tried my best. He looks at me with a hateful expression, even as he's trying to cover it with a fake smile. You're fast on both your mind and your feet, but you lack discipline and form. I'll see what I can do to improve your training. But enough of that. Just go get yourself checked out, soldier. And Carlos makes sure to put some... But enough of that. Just go get yourself checked out, soldier. And Carlos makes sure to put some nice minutes on that wound. Will do. And Carlos says as he walks away with Eddie. That was a splendid fight. Very entertaining. The king claps his hands as he approaches us, arming right on his tail. The two wolves seem to be content with the result of the match, which only helps to boost my confidence. I need to have a word with my youngest retainer. Could you two leave us? At once, your highness. Sure thing, old man. Roger gives Almond a murderous look, but the smaller wolf just shrugs it off. They both take the path back to the castle, with a preventive distance between themselves, of course. Those two really don't like each other, do they? Here, tell me about it. You both remain in silence for a while, the only sound being the waves hitting against the swords and the seagulls flying all over the place. Conversations with the king often go like this. They are slow and very quick, as if he enjoyed watching my confusion. I was worried there for a second, if I must say. But after seeing you battle with such fearsome determination, I knew there was nothing to worry about. You've grown so much in such a short span of time. I'm quite proud. I feel proud of myself as I hear him say that. Although I must admit, hearing him say it like that reminds me a lot of my old man. I hope he's doing okay. Thank you for those kind words, sir. The old man nods and we both remain in silence for a while, just enjoying the afternoon. It's been 3 weeks since I brought you here. The old man finally breaks the silence. He places his tiny hand on my back and smiles, but this time his smile looks worried. He fixes his face as soon as it came, going back to his usual self. Your Highness, are you alright? It's quite alright, my boy. My mind just wanders from time to time. It's the effect of getting old. But that's not why I wanted to talk to you. I believe this is yours, isn't it? I cannot believe my eyes the king hands me. How did he get this? Why does he... Wait, of course. I had the army when Roger apprehended me back in the city. It had been such a stressful day that I completely forgot about it. Your face tells me that you recognize it. Am I wrong? No, sir, you're right. This is mine. Also, the king places his hand on his chin, looking to the distance as if he was thinking deeply about something. That's okay if you don't, but mind telling me how did you come across it? I feel my guts revolting inside me. Does he know something? Maybe he does, and this could be my only chance at getting info. But what if he's planning to do something? Can I really trust him? But what if he's planning to do something? Can I really trust this man? My mind's going faster than ever, and I just freeze in place, unable to muster a single word. I see, you must have your reasons not to tell me. I don't blame you, Ellie. Talking about the past is such a hard thing. But you should know, I am also interested in the meaning of that object. So I want to task you with a mission. I go to hear him say that in such a dramatic way. What could it be that he wants me to do? I really hope it is nothing dangerous, because after today's event, I don't think my heart can take much more of this. But who am I kidding? From the start I had the feeling things will only get crazier. You know, my grandson has organized a wonderful for his birthday. He's organized a wonderful party for his birthday. It'll be held 2 days from today in Amethyst Castle. But we'll be leaving tomorrow. After all, there are some errands that need to be done. But I can't do them all on my own. After all, I'm so old. So will you be so kind as to do those for me? I'm sure if one or two of my retainers go around the city doing my bidding, everyone will allow them passes anywhere they want. Will you agree, Ellie? My heart skips a beat as I hear him say that. This is it. This is what I needed. I'll finally have my chance to search for information in the higher city. I see that. Yes, I'll do it, sir. I sighed before I noticed it. Looks like I won't have to worry about those pesky errands anymore. I'm glad. He smiles back at me, and in return, I give him the brightest smile I can. At this point, I don't care if this is a scheme or if the king has ulterior motives by sending me to investigate. He probably does if you think about it. But I don't care. This is a chance in my life, and I'm not wasting it. Alright, it's settled then. Remember, we'll leave tomorrow, and dinner will be the day after tomorrow. so you'll have to find an inn to stay. There's a rather famous one in the town plaza. They'll give you a room there if you show them this. The king handles me a sealed letter. Now this look a little more suspicious, but it's better than to ask. Give it to the innkeeper, he'll understand. He's an old friend. If he passed my back one last time before, turning around and walking a few steps away from me. But he stops in his tracks, though seemingly remembering something. Or make sure to take one of your retainer partners with you. It would be rather dangerous to go alone. I'll let you choose who to take with you. I'm sure they won't have a problem with it. With that, he finally leaves for good, giving me space to ponder the question. Who should I take with me? I've never been asked to wake up this early in the 3 weeks I've spent here. The early mornings are really cold and quiet, as not even the birds are up yet. I'm currently leaning on my good old friend, the tree, who is replacing my comfortable mattress as I'm trying to get some last shut-eye before leaving. My eyes feel like they're about to fall off, and my muscles are still a little sore after yesterday's events. At this point, I'm even starting to regret my decision. No, I can't think like that. This is the only shot that I'll get at exploring the higher city, and I need to make good use of this opportunity. What I don't think, though, is the fact that I had to bring a babysitter with me. And he's late. I'm freezing my butt out here. And he has the audacity to be late. He, of all people. The same person that told me to go to sleep early so I don't oversleep. I sneeze, rubbing my hands on my arms to keep myself warm. If this keeps up, I might catch a cold, which is weird because my coat should keep me warm. I mean my fur. I'm a damn fox after all, but I've never felt this cold in my life. Could it be that my body is still tired? Maybe I already caught the cold. Anyway, hey, I kind of wanted to meet face to face with. But sir, what about your bath? I crossed my bed as soon as I entered the room. My whole body hurts and my muscles feel like rocks, stiff and unresponsive. Not a good sign at all. I don't even bother taking off my clothes. I just drop my shoes beside the bed. Sir, I must insist. The seats will smell bad if you sleep like that. Zach seems a little nervous as he walks beside me. Should I listen to the one in charge of taking care of me? I probably should. But the goddesses know how tired I am. How tired I really am. So just for one night, damn the seats. Look, I'll cut you a deal. If they really smell that bad by tomorrow, I'll help you clean them once I'm back. That's... I know. I'm a master. I'm not supposed to do chores. But I enjoy helping you. So this is on me, okay? The little dog remains quiet after I say that. His cheeks are a little red, but he doesn't seem nervous or embarrassed as per usual. He seems a little sad this time. Zach? He looks up at me as if he's seen a ghost, then immediately looks away. It's nothing, sir. You sure? No, yeah. It's fine, you should sleep. For a moment there, it looked like he wanted to say something, and now he's got me all curious. I need to be careful, though. If I push him too much, I could scare him away. It has happened a few times. Hey, it's fine. If you have something to say, I'm all ears. Got some pretty big ones, after all. He shyly smiles to my silly joke, and that seems to catch his attention. I've noticed that even if he acts like a grown-up all the time, he still has the heart of a teenager, so I try to use that to connect with him more easily. Goddesses know I still have the heart of a kid. But may I go with you? He finally says, taking me by surprise. Does he mean the trip to the big city? I didn't think he would actually want to go. Is that even a no? Does he mean the trip to the big city? I didn't think he would actually want to go. Is that even an option? The king specifically told me That's one of the other retainers who accompany me. I don't think that's an answer, buddy. Sorry. Besides, I already planned the S. Alright, so this is a big decision in the game. So we're going to pick which one to go with. It's the big city. So I'm going to stop right here. So Amethyst, Almond, and Roderick are the three routes in this VN. And next time I'll pick one of them. I'll do all of them because all three of them don't have a whole lot in their roots so far, so I'll do all three of them. So go ahead and see here. So that dog that we met, I figured that he was putting up a facade because I recognized the dog, and he was that soldier that was there when Roderick caught Ellie. I knew it was him because of the same fur pattern on his arm. So when I saw Eddie in the throne room, I knew that was the soldier from that day when Ellie got caught, and it was strange that he was being nice to him at first. So I figured that it was merely a facade. He was pretending to be nice to Ellie since Roderick was in their presence. And once Roderick left and they were alone, that's when Eddie decided to show his true demeanor towards Ellie, that he's very angry at Ellie because he's a criminal, plus he thinks he put more work on him. He thinks Ellie put more work on him as a soldier because of the whole attempt to steal from the king and the explosion as well, because all the nobles don't feel safe and they want soldiers to protect them while they go about the city and the country. So let's put more work on Eddie and the other soldiers. So he's mad about that. I think this was in some way, I guess you say, kind of like your past actions coming back to bite you. That's really what I thought about this whole part here. You know, Ellie having to come to terms with the consequences of his actions, and to some extent that's what happened in this part of the VN. With a soldier named Eddie recognizing you and calling it a criminal, and I think in some way Eddie had the right to be angry at Ellie because he did do all that. He did try to steal from the king, though he didn't know that there would be an explosion involved with what they were doing with his two colleagues there, or friends, or whatever. So I understand Ellie. I don't like him. I don't like Ellie though, but anyway, I'm happy that Ellie was able to beat Eddie, and that was not easy for me to do. I mean, it took me over a day just to do those choices correctly and to do them fast enough. Because if you, it's not just it's not enough, for you to win just by choosing the correct choices. You have to pick the correct choices fast. You gotta do it, all of them fast. If you do it by the time the little countdown thing is almost up, then that would count against you because you took too long and your opponent almost gets you. So as soon as the choice comes, you gotta be real quick about it. So like, if you're able to strike your opponent within half in the countdown, then of each choice, like each countdown has a choice. I mean, each choice has a countdown, and if you're able to do the correct choice within half the countdown, then you'll be successful and you will beat your opponent. Okay, so next time we'll pick somebody to go with. We're going to start with all 3 routes, but who we're going to do with first, we'll find out next time. So thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.